Yeah, hello and welcome to the Trend Zone Football Dudes Extranomical Fantasy Show. He's Dave, I'm Casey. It's time to talk a little fantasy.
Hey, neon lights shining brightly makes your brain ignite. Can you live this fantasy life?
Dave, it's not reality. It's just a fantasy. Oh, yeah. You know what time it is. And we will dive a little bit deeper into NFL goodness on the granddaddy, the big fatty trend zone. So make sure you like and
Oh, yeah.
subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so you don't miss any of it. But Dave, speaking of not missing any of it, three strikes survival pool.
Woo! I've yet to get one of my strikes, Casey, so I'm quite clean here. I had Seattle over Arizona, as did you, which was in fact the most popular correct pick in the league. A little nerve wracking, but
It was. I
good
mean, it
stuff.
got close and they had a touchdown lead, and then Arizona had the ball, but Seattle handled that business and went ahead and won. I hate to be on the most popular correct pick, but we jumped on it this week. But Dave, the
Yeah.
bloodbath of the incorrect picks this week. Ooh.
Dude. So four of the top five picks in Yahoo Survivor were wrong, including Buffalo over New England. That got about 15%. Vegas over Chi-Town. That was 5.5%. The Rams over the Stillers. That was 4.5%. And the Niners over the Vikings. That was over 4%. Totaling them up, I'm no math wizard, but that's almost 30% right there.
Did you
Jeez.
carry the one?
I can tell you,
Yeah,
don't
with
know
the
if I
decimal
tell you
point.
the one.
Yeah.
Got
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Close enough. I'm going to buy that. Oh, baby. What about going into week 8?
Yeah, week 8 right now, it's a dead heat between the Lions over the Raiders. That's over 21%. And then the Chargers over the Bears. That's also over 21% by a hair on each of them. Both the Lions and the Chargers are at home. Seem like reasonable picks. But
Yeah.
again, we don't like the idea of being necessarily in with the group that has the
Mm-mm.
most popular pick. But there it is for you.
I'm feeling a little bit saucy right now. So at the moment, I'm taking those Jets over the Giants. I might change it before we get to the weekend, though. So
Yeah, just don't wait till Sunday morning. We
yeah,
all
that's
know
right.
how that goes.
Got to get it done early.
That's right.
Oh, baby. All right, David, it's time for our fantasy go back starts of the week. If you could go back and swap a person in your lineup, would it have gotten you a win?
Well, in our league, I'm living in a world of regret and dismay, but that has it was in no way could I have solved it. But in my other league, I lost by 1.2 points. Could have put in Baker Mayfield instead of Sam Howell. That would have got me about 9 more points. Easy, clean win. And I'm sitting there at 2-4.
It's time to fire the coach.
Yeah, somebody's got to be held accountable, right?
Yeah, management brought in all this talent, but the coach doesn't know what to do with them. I had a bunch of buys going on this week, so and a couple injuries, so I had no bench players, and it was just enough. I had point 0.4 scoring. I mean, I kicked the crap out of the Bang Dangs, but point 0.4 over Ogre Never Algo to be the top money earner for week 7. Yeah, baby. Point
You're
0.4.
in the money. In the
That's
money.
right. On the top. Speaking of on the top, these guys here are on the top because they are shining in total fantasy domination. Dave, give me a quarterback.
It is Patrick Mahomes of your Foul Boys and the Chiefs playing against my Chargers. They finally had a breakout performance offensively. Mahomes, 424 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, just one pick, and 29 rushing yards. I think he got like 5 first downs with those 29 rushing yards. I know he didn't, but it just feels like it. Every time he ran, it was a first down on 3rd and long.
That was
Great.
brutal. And at running back, Dante Foreman from the Ogres that never outgoes. Man, so many injuries, and he finally got back in there. He was in the doghouse. Now he's running straight out of that. 89 rush yards, 2 rushing TDs, 31 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. Wow.
Awesome. picked up off the waivers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
At wide receiver, Jordan Addison with that monster performance for the Bolt Action and the Vikings, 123 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. I love that one that he ripped out of the DB's hands and took it to the house. That was awesome.
Yeah. What about primetime Kirk getting it done? Kirk.
No kidding. Okay, moving on to the next segment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, Dave. We got to make one more stop. Sorry. You can take five.
Oh,
It was Travis
yeah.
Kelsey from the Donkey Shawns, 179 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown, and he did most of that damage in the first half. Chargers fixed some stuff for
Yeah.
the second half, but just a little too late in that game. Oh,
Awesome.
and speaking of coming up week 8 this week, Football Dudes Divided. Lightning
Uh-oh.
strikes versus the Foul Boys.
Okay, look out. I'm getting my
Yeah,
team prepped up after last week's embarrassing loss.
I looked
We're
at them. I
ready.
don't have a lot of good matchups, so it could be sketchy. I'm trying to climb in and stay in it, but it will
I
be
just got to make
fun.
the right coaching decisions over here, right?
That's right. Like last
Keep my
week, I couldn't
job.
do anything. It helps. You know what I mean? Like when you're like, oh, I got injuries and bye weeks. That's my squad. All right, peoples. We run our league through NFL.com. Here's the deets. We have 12 teams, non PPR, non flex, 3 wides, 2 running backs, 6 points for a touchdown for the quarterback, as it should be, but only 5 bench spots. It's so brutal. We hate it, but we also love it. It really makes some good talent get thrown back into the pool. So you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Dave, what about our waivers?
Move to last after claim never reset, the way it should be in every league. After a successful waiver claim, your team is moved to the lowest waiver priority. But if you decide not to take a player in a given week, your waiver position goes up, up, up each week. So there's value in not taking a player every single week off waivers and instead waiting and settling for a free agency and waiting until that waiver positioning gets much higher for when you really want a player. Strategic.
Strategery. I love it, baby. That's why Dave is the commish, people. You should follow his lead. Oh, Dave, what about some of the players we told the people to pick up last week?
Yeah, we had a couple of quarterbacks in there. I don't know. They did all right. Howell, Desmond Ritter, Tyrod Taylor, I think we mentioned as a go-to guy. He had a pretty clean game. Not to mention Rashee Rice for the Chiefs. He had a pretty nice performance. He seems to be, as we've been noticing, separating himself from the horde of receivers that the Chiefs have that are not Travis Kelce. So, yeah, there were some nice performances by some of the people that we highlighted last week and suggested maybe people get a hold of.
All right, let's see if we got any mojo left over for this week. Dave, what about
Yeah.
quarterback?
Yeah, how about Gardner Minshew, dude? Not a great matchup for the Saints. They're solid defense across the board, but the stash is coming off of a 335 yards performance and 4 touchdowns against the Browns. And geez, the
Wow.
Browns are a great defense. So amazing performance from Minshew. Also, Anthony Richards out for the duration here. So Minshew could be a guy that you not only stream, but you keep on for the long haul and decide, hey, this guy's outperforming my starter, given a week-to-week matchup situation.
Yeah, dude. And if he just cleans up the interception business, the Colts, man, that's a wacky division. They're probably fighting
So,
for a wild card, but you never know. There's still plenty of football.
yep.
So we'll see. You know what, Dave? I'm going to go ahead and stay in that game and talk about Derek Carr. Over 300 yards last week, only 1 touchdown. He should have had the second one as the Foster Moreau dropped what would have been the game tying touchdown on Thursday night. So who knows what's going to happen with Olave this weekend? I'm sure he's going to play, but Derek Carr, he's gonna throw the rock, get you some tutties.
Yeah, he made sure to make sure that everyone knew that it was a dropped pass for whatever reason. Not sure.
Old Raider
Also,
die
look out for
hard.
Kyler Murray if you want to stash somebody. Kyler's kind of on the mend, on the way back. If you've got an extra roster spot back into the deal there, who knows? He might be coming back, and always is good for some fantasy points if you need a guy.
Yeah, that's a good idea if you got the spot for him. All right, Dave, what about running back?
Gus Edwards, dude, last week 144 yards and a touchdown. This week versus Arizona, not
Ooh,
bad at
that's
all.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, in a pinch, you could also Jerome Ford for the Browns left last week. Don't know, check on his status because Kareem Hunt's the guy that's going to get the lion's share of the carries if Ford can't go. They're not a good passing offense, so they're going to run the ball and they play good defense. So, not a bad idea to pick up on him. He had 2 touchdowns last week too.
But do the Browns have any money tied up at the quarterback position?
No, no problem there, Casey. That's a throwaway. Luckily, they're likely to have uh, PJ back at the quarterback position if Deshaun can't get healthy or stay healthy or whatever it is.
Brutal.
I'm rooting
Yeah,
for
Dave.
him though.
Yeah. I'm actually hoping I miss on this, but I'm still going to give the people Daryl Henderson. He's going up against the Cowboys. He had 61 rush yards and a touchdown versus Pittsburgh last week. He is in a timeshare with Royce Freeman, but Henderson has the trust and the familiarity with the team and the coaching staff. So,
Yeah.
as long as he's going, man, he is going to be the dude there. All right, Dave, wide receiver.
All right. Well, how about this? Josh Downs for the Indianapolis Colts. He's only rostered in 35% of the leagues out there, and he had 5 passes, 125 yards, and a touchdown against a tough Browns defense. Obviously, someone was on the receiving end of those Minshew passes. Um, and, Downs has been one of Minshew's favorite targets. So looks like he's going to be kind of one of those go-to receivers for that new squad, which is Minshew's squad officially at this point in time. So tough schedule ahead with New Orleans and then New England down the road. But again, in terms of the long haul, an interesting prospect that could be an ascending guy.
Yeah, that's a stack, baby. Getting you a couple Colts in there. And you can say, get up and get downs with the sickness. Ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, bum. Little medal for the people.
All right.
Once again, dude, a really tough matchup this week versus the Jets. But if you have a roster spot, I feel like Jalen Hyatt is worth stashing. If Saquon can come back and get healthy, that's opening up the pass game over the top. Tyrod's a little better than Danny Dimebag. So he had a couple big catches last week. They need more out of him, and I think it's trending that direction. Like I said, probably not this week, but if you got a spot, go ahead and hang on to him. And if you need someone for this week, look at Rondell Moore, dude. He's gotten plenty of targets over the last couple of weeks, and they're probably going to have to pass a lot versus the Ravens because they probably will be behind. So Rondell Moore, man, he's getting a lot of targets.
All right. Some good ideas there with the rookie Hyatt as well. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Dave, let's take a look at the tight end.
All right, how about Trey McBride? Zach Ertz going on IR, so it should create a lot of opportunities for McBride. And, they're really high on him already. He's finished as one of the Arizona's top 2 receivings for 2 weeks in a row now. So not a bad idea to grab McBride at tight end for Arizona.
Yeah, especially with Ertz going down, dude. That's a great play, bro.
Plenty
And
more targets.
yeah, people, we told you pick up Taysom Hill and scumbag those stats. He does a little bit of everything. He's running, he's throwing, he's catching. Multiple carries in all but one game this season. And on Thursday, season high in receiving yards. Last 2 games, 11 for 99 on 13 targets. And he got
Wow.
a touchdown. So I'm not above scumbagging. Actually, people would probably say you're quite a scumbag. So do it. I'm telling you, get those points. All
That
right,
sounds
Dave.
good. I've been streaming tight ends, so I'm all ears, baby.
Yeah, get on that hill. All right, Dave. Let's go ahead and skip the kickers. I mean, kickers are people too, but we ain't got time for that BS. What
Right.
about defenses?
Yeah, it's not the one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eaters, Casey, but not quite. But I still like the Vikings defense, blitzing over half the time, most in the NFL in terms of blitzes. The Vikings have 19 sacks, 5 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles, and 2 defensive special teams touchdowns. Oh, guess what? They're playing the Packers and Jordan Love. He's got 6 interceptions over the last 3 games. Very, very giving at the quarterback position. So looks like a tasty matchup indeed.
Oh, brutal for those Packs, dude. Cause wants Magoo in there. Let's see a Magoo sighting. All right, baby.
Yeah,
Magoo, get him in there.
Spring League champion.
That's right, Dave. How about the Dolphins on a bounce back game versus the Patriots on the season? 25 sacks, 3 interceptions, 4 fumbles, and a touchdown. They had a very mobile Jalen Hurts dead to right a few times, but Jalen got out of it. Mac, not quite the same mobility. Yeah, these Dolphins going to be angry fish there.
That's right. They are going to be indeed.
Maybe they're going to take it out on those Patriots who beat the Bills. So who knows what the hell is going on in the AFC
It's the
East, dude.
NFL. We can't do those logic alignments like that.
It's crazy, man. Every season we see it, and it's just like it always comes back to, yeah, it's the NFL. Anything can and will and does happen week to week. Hey, You guys got questions? We got answers. Hit us up. Facebook, Twitter, Football Dudes LA, footballdudesla@gmail.com. Send them in, and we will try to get them on the show. And make sure you subscribe to the Trend Zone. That's our big Mac Daddy podcast each and every week of the NFL season. We talk top trending stories and preview all of the games from the upcoming week.
Yeah, that's the Trend Zone podcast available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. It's a great show, folks. You got to check it out.
What else should the people do, Dave?
They should head on over to footballdudes.com. And in order to dominate your regular league and your fantasy league, you got all the information between these two shows. It's amazing.
Come get it, people. It's right at your little fingertips. That is going to do it for the Trend Zone Football Dudes Extranomical Fantasy Show. We're not the suits that talk football. We're the dudes that know football. And may your reality and your fantasy meld into one extranomical football weekend. He's Dave. I'm Casey. And we are out of here. Wait. Now we're out of here.